Right, your mate Dave just got married, your mate Joe just got engaged, and you still going home alone in your cold and empty bed. Well guys, we're going to change that, so stay right there. Hey there guys, this is Prash here from Single to Taken for another video. So we're in Hyde Park Corner here and we're going to be interviewing the ladies and asking them what's the best way and how do you go about getting a girlfriend. So this is part 2. So the first part was with Christine where I interviewed her on talking about ways how to get a girlfriend. So one of our subscribers, he sent me a question. He's basically struggling to get a girlfriend or getting into a relationship. So let's go. Right, before we go and ask the lovely ladies about how does one go about getting a girlfriend, let me give you my take on this. So I might overlap some of the stuff that I spoke about when I was on the video with Christine. So I think first of all what you need to do is you need to evaluate how often are you meeting new people? How often are you meeting new people? Richard Wiseman at the University of Hertfordshire, he recently did a study where he examined people that were meeting new people on a regular basis versus people that were doing things in isolation. And he found that the first group, which is people that were meeting new people on a regular basis, found their girlfriends, wives, spouses, etc., versus those that were doing things in isolation. So if you're doing activities that involve playing Xbox or doing things which are alone, then you're limiting your chance of getting a girlfriend because you're not meeting new people that you could potentially connect with, and that's not someone that could potentially be your girlfriend, but in a way that you expand your social circle and expand your network, because who knows who may be there further down the line when you go out and meet new people. So one of the things you can do to start with when it comes to meeting new people, especially if you have a job that involves just working at a desk and you work for a small company, join your local meetup group. If there's any evening classes that have been going on, think about any things that you've been looking to do in terms of activities like cookery, paragliding, playing badminton, and join that club in your local area, and you never know who you may meet. So get out there and start meeting new people. That's the first step. Next thing is about developing yourself. So you have to first start loving yourself before somebody can love you. Now, when I was younger, I was at a stage in my life where I'd never had a girlfriend. I never even touched a girl or been out on a date. And what it was is that I was allowing that to affect my self-esteem. I was starting to self-doubt myself, because you know what happens when you start thinking negatively? You get into that cycle of negativity and it just spirals out of control. And I think one of the reasons for that is because I went through a lot of child abuse when I was younger. And I went to an all-boys school, so my exposure and my experience with women was quite limited. I remember when I went from the all-boys school to college, I was still quite naive about a lot of things. Like I used to even see girls hugging, and I actually found that odd at that time because I just didn't really have that exposure when I was in my teenage years. And I think that just goes about how naive I was at the time. But another thing was that lack of experience, when I saw everyone else being with people, and I thought, oh, what's wrong with me? How comes I'm not with that person? But the trouble was I was comparing myself to other people, and this is a wrong thing as well. Comparison is the thief of joy. If you're comparing yourself to other people, then really you're going to be stressed out about what you don't have rather than what you do have. So start living from a place of gratitude, where you think about things that you're grateful for, because in that way, because remember, you can only be grateful or stressed. You can't be one or the other. If you're comparing yourself and focusing on things that you don't have, what you do have becomes a blind spot. And when you're focusing on things that you're grateful for, then you're going to disregard the things that you don't have and think that things aren't so bad. Because remember, happiness is based on, and this is from Paul Nolan's book on Happiness by Design, is where you allocate your attention. So focus on things that you're grateful for and do activities that make you feel engaged and make you feel in the moment and in the groove. So then that way, if you do meet someone, especially so based on the first example that I told you about, which is about finding activities or things that you've been meaning to do, when you're genuinely enjoying yourself, people get to experience the raw, real you, who is, you know, in that flow, in that moment. You're being your normal, engaged self. And that's where they get to see the real you, and not just some persona that you're trying to place on yourself just to obtain somebody, if you know what I mean. So start developing yourself, develop your own happiness, start loving yourself, take up personal development. And don't live from a place, or when you're going to approach and meet women, don't come from a place that, oh, I need this woman in my life for me to be happy. You're already happy as you are, because women want to be around someone that's emotionally secure within themselves and, you know, has their own life and they're satisfied in themselves. Because if you don't feel emotionally secure, how are you going to make her feel secure? Do you get what I mean? So work on yourself and develop your own happiness and start loving yourself. Right, another tip on how to get a girlfriend is you need to take a leap of faith and actually go and speak to them. And across various different stages when you meet women, you have to take that leap of faith. I remember one time when I was in my teens, in my early 20s, I'd see a woman I like and I just wouldn't approach them. I would just stand there or just sit there and I would just stare and just not make a move and just fantasize in my head about me being with her. But the thing is, if you want something, you have to take action and do something. By just simply thinking about it, nothing's going to happen, is it? So you have to take action and go and actually speak to women, and you have to risk getting yourself rejected. Remember, you miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. And just answer this question. If you don't do anything, how much percent chance of success there is if you don't take any action? 0, right? Whereas if you do take action, there is a chance of rejection, but it's 50-50. There's a chance of success or a chance of failure, but that's simply by taking action. So if you do see someone that you like, you have to go up to them, you have to initiate a conversation, and you have to talk to them. That's what you have to do. So you have to take action in terms of approaching women and initiating that conversation. And that's the only way around it. There's no magic pill. She's not going to come to you, or your Mrs. Right isn't going to come to your doorstep and, you know, be there with a bouquet of flowers. Right, a little more on rejection now. So I think one of the reasons why when I was in my teens and my early 20s, that I didn't approach women is because I was afraid of getting rejected. I was afraid of embarrassing myself. See, the reality of the situation is that you have to get the no's before you get the yeses. So rejection is going to happen. It's going to be inevitable. Just see it that it's going to be part of the process. See, when I approach someone and they don't like me, I see rejection as a redirection, because it's about how you frame something that happens to you. Because everything that you do, or everything that happens to you or comes to you, it's within your personal power of how you choose to respond to it. You can either choose to make it, or you can choose it to make you or break you. So would you rather be the victim, or would you rather be the creator? So if I get rejected by someone, I just see it as a redirection, that somebody better is coming along, rather than thinking to myself, oh, no one likes me, everybody hates me. Because that's what I used to think before. I used to allow it to affect my self-esteem and how I felt about myself. So it's how you respond is the key to rejection. So rejection is going to be inevitable when you do go out and you meet someone, and we do go out and initiate conversations with people and speak to people, but it's how you respond is the key. Right, so the next thing is you need to have a list of deal breakers. What things that you want in your ideal woman, and this is where you have to make a list. And this is not just things like she needs to be nice, she needs to be funny, she needs to be pretty or good looking. Detail is most important. So what sort of food does she like? How does she unwind? What sort of things should she do on a weekend? What kind of holidays she likes? What kind of trips she likes? This is what you need to have that mental clarity of, because in that way, because if that's something that you like, because you're going to bring this person into your life, this is where you're going to resonate with and you create that deep connection with that person. If you're just finding someone just to fill a hole in, just for your own happiness, and you're not considering what sort of characteristics she wants to be, and you just want to settle for anyone, then that relationship isn't going to last that long. So have a detailed list of what things you want in your ideal partner or your ideal girlfriend. Is very, very important, because in that way you're going to be the buyer, not the seller. Again, it's about what place it's coming from, and you're going to be qualifying her in terms of, you know, how she spends her Friday night, what sort of work she likes, what sort of holidays she likes, where does she see herself in a certain number of years. So in that way you're going to come from a place of authenticity, and she's going to feel as well that you're not just one of these guys that's just going to settle for anything, and you have standards, you have boundaries on you have standards on what it is that you want in your ideal person, and that's what makes you more of a high value person. Another thing, and this is a mindset thing on how to get yourself a girlfriend, is that you need to humanize women and not put them on a pedestal. A lot of guys, especially when there's a good looking woman such as a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, they place women on a pedestal and they kiss ass them. They treat them like these delicate, angelic creatures. But if you really think about it, they're no different to you. They're just a normal human being. Just picture her as if she's just, you know, had a massive workout and she's sweaty, or where she's eating a burger. She's just a human. So don't picture these women as these delicate, angelic creatures and you have to give them this princess behavior. That's what a lot of guys do, is they'll put them on a pedestal and they'll kiss ass to them, and some will even keep buying them things and they'll agree to everything that she says just with the hope of pleasing her. So you don't be coming from a people-pleasing place and placing her on that pedestal. Just treat them like any other human being, just like how you treat your friend, because this is an element of being yourself, where you just treat them just like how you treat your friend, and you're just being your normal, real you, and not just someone that's just trying to, you know, kiss ass to them and come from an approval-seeking place. Right, another thing is about just being positive and having an optimistic attitude towards life. If you're someone that's, now the thing is, when I was younger, I was quite negative, because I used to be living in this quest and this yearning about, you know, getting a girlfriend, and when I don't have one I won't be happy. And the thing is, because I was so negative and very unsatisfied with life, it affected other areas of my life as well. And going back to the thing about personal development, about just being grateful, because when you're coming from a place that you're always positive and you're always optimistic, you're going to give off good energy that people want to be around. Let me ask you this: who would you rather be around with? Someone that's positive or somebody that's negative? That's the thing. So develop a positive mental attitude and be around someone that people want to be around, so that, you know, I'm sure that as any women that are watching over there, you'd rather be with a positive rather than a negative person, right? There you go. All right, so the next tip is that you have to make a move along the way. So if you see someone that you like, you have to go up to them and you have to talk to them. You have to talk to them, you have to build rapport for them, you have to ask for their phone number, you have to invite them out on a date. Maybe in the first or the second date, start holding their hand. You've got to go for the kiss. So along these ways, you have to make the move. You have to take that leap of faith and you have to pull the trigger. Because what a lot of guys will do is that they'll invite someone out, but then they won't try and maybe go for the hound, or they won't try and joke with them or banter with them. They'll try and stay safe or play it safe. And what happens is that this will make them in the friend zone. Because remember, you have to make your intentions clear, because when women meet men, they put them in a category of either this person can be my mate or someone that I could potentially date or a potential boyfriend. And you have to be always making that move and risk losing the girl. If you don't do that, you're going to end up in the friend zone, and your success in this is going to be very, very limited. That's where I went wrong. A lot of times I would just sit there and I would stare, I would take her out, and I wouldn't go for the kiss, or I would not hold my hand, and I'd be quite hesitant when doing it. You just got to do it. You've got to grow some balls. You've got to take that leap of faith and pull the trigger and risk losing. And remember, if you get rejected, it's a redirection to something that's better. Rejection equals redirection. Anyways, enough for me rabbiting on. Let's go and ask the lovely ladies. So how does a man go about getting a girlfriend? What tips or advice could you give him?
Well, first of all, I would say that you don't really need to look for a girlfriend. I don't think that's the right mindset. I think it's all about being a cool person, being confident, and then the rest will come out automatically, you know. Nice, intellectual, or interesting people who want to be near you. And I think that's what comes first. You don't really need to look for a girlfriend. That's not a good way to start. Just work on yourself. Be an interesting person that people want to be around. I would say that.
So it's about finding yourself first and finding the best version of yourself first.
Absolutely.
And then you'll get your better half.
Why would anybody want a version that's not the best of you?
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit intense, but yes.
Great.
That's what I think.
Right, so what tips do you have for men on how to get themselves a girlfriend?
I would say don't be weird and just wait for it to happen, I guess.
So when you say wait for it to happen, is it that just live your life as it is and sooner or later
wait till you meet a girl that you connect with, because if you try to force it, nothing will happen. Yeah.
And emotional intelligence as well, which is not being weird as well.
Yeah.
So how does a guy go about getting a girlfriend?
Be rich. No, I'm joking, I'm joking.
You go gold digger, aren't you?
No.
Don't, if you see her, don't go out with her. Not to date.
Okay, So be confident and charismatic.
Yeah.
I think girls like guys who are funny and entertaining and not creepy.
Okay, so how does a guy go about getting a girlfriend? What tips could you give him?
Being direct and forward, but not too aggressive and not being too in her face about it.
So being direct in terms of making your intentions clear, but in a non-sleazy way.
Exactly. And just don't be afraid to make the first move.
Yeah, because if you don't do anything, there's a 0% chance of success, isn't it?
Right, and girls all want to be wooed and, swept off their feet. So you don't want to be too timid about it, but you don't want to be too rude about it either.
Yeah, so not too cocky. Right?
Yeah.
Right, so what advice would you give to single guys on how to get a girlfriend?
Right, so for single guys out there, I think the best thing is to start off as friends. If you think that you've got a little crush for the girl, go for it, don't regret it. Ask her if she's feeling interested, because to be fair, best friends, girls and boys, I think there's going to be some sort of attraction there. And I guess it's worth asking if the person is interested in you or not.
Yeah, and I think it's just building that solid rapport, isn't it?
Yes.
Building that rapport, building that connection, getting to know that person.
Yes.
And the sound will pick up from there.
All right.
And at the same time, just going from there, and just not being afraid to make that move.
Definitely not. And be a man.
Yeah.
Be a man.
To take that leap of faith.
Of course.
And just make that move.
And that's what's very attractive, if a guy goes first and asks a girl, not waiting for the girl to express her emotions, sometimes a bit shy and self-conscious.
So, you like someone that's expressive, isn't it? Someone
Yes.
that's not afraid to express how they feel.
Of course.
And takes a lead to get what they want out of life.
Oh, of course. I'm seeing a person right now, and he was a friend, and I feel like we just start to develop that sort of attraction to each other. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. So what advice would you give to guys on how to go about getting a girlfriend?
I would definitely say that chivalry is not dead, so be polite, hold the door for me, and be yourself. You want to stand out from other guys. You don't want to put up a wall and have toxic masculinity, so be goofy.
Yeah. Confident but not cocky, is that balance?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, and do you know what, these little things like opening the door, getting the chair out and taking the bill, these little things, even though they're only minor, but they add up, don't they? In the overall
Yes,
impression
definitely.
of guys, don't they?
Definitely.
Okay. Anything else you want to share, or any other golden nuggets you want to give to them?
I'm not sure. Maybe if you remember something she tells you, if you have a second conversation and you bring up something she said, she'll definitely remember that.
And follow up on that, because then it shows, because you want to be listened to, don't you? You want to
Exactly.
be recognised and be heard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you know what? A lot of my clients, they'll go out on a date, and then after the second, they'll be like, what do you do again? That's going to be awkward, isn't it? Whereas if they remembered something about it, how would you feel?
I would feel like I'm special.
Right, so what advice could you give to guys on how to go about getting a girlfriend?
Well, maybe just if you have ambition in life, it's just really attractive, I guess. So
Yeah.
it's having vision and having clarity where you want to go in life. It's really attractive, yeah.
So having that means working on yourself.
Yeah, working on yourself
Yeah.
and just getting up every day, doing what you love to do. It's really nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah, because in that way you're more present and you're the best version
Yeah,
of yourself. aren't you, when
exactly,
you're doing
yeah.
that? And when you're being that best version of yourself, that's where women get to see and feel the raw, real you rather than a personified version.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
to please someone.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right then guys, well I hope that was useful advice from the ladies. So I think it's just about going out there, putting yourself out there, approaching them, and just not allowing rejection to affect how you feel about yourself and whether or not you are happy or you're not happy. Because if you don't allow rejection to affect how you feel about yourself, you're going to be more confident. Because I think confidence is the reason why I feel that people lack confidence, and I was in that respect, because I was too worried about the outcome. I was worried of embarrassing myself. I was worried about the woman not liking me, or that she won't go out with me, and that's what held me back. And the thing is, you have to go through that tunnel of the unknown, but you never know what you're going to get out the other end when you do face your fears. And of course, a lot of the stuff I cover, which is my 3 C's, which is confidence, charisma and conversation, and self-belief and self-amusement, which I even spoke about at my the public speakers conference in Cricklewood. And that's about just believing in yourself. Your beliefs are a reflection on how you view reality and how people will perceive you. Coming from a place of self-amusement where you're not taking things too seriously, and we're not taking things too seriously, your funny self, your funny side comes out more. Being confident, so not allowing rejection to affect how you feel about yourself, being comfortable around women, listening to what the woman is saying and taking a genuine interest in her, and just being charisma, just being comfortable in your own self, being positive, being happy, and radiating that positive energy within others. And most importantly, just don't give up. If a woman rejects you, it's just a redirection to a better prospect. Anyways guys, I hope this helps. Well, you know the drill. Like, share and subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, post them in the comments box below and I'll answer them from the women on the streets, and I will talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.